All right, boils and ghouls. So this one I already had planned before that poll, so I'm letting that poll run through tonight. And then that'll be the next discussion, whatever wins that. We have Let the Right One In from 2008, Mario Bava's Blood and Black Lace, M. Night Shyamalan's Split, and The Fly remake from Cronenberg. So those are the four choices. But this one, Frailty from 2001, this is a great fucking movie. And you don't hear this talked about ever, really. I feel like this was a product of its time. It was like an early 2000s horror, mystery, thriller, and then people just forgot about it. And this is Bill Paxton's directorial debut. I don't know how many films Bill Paxton went on to direct, but I feel like he should have done more after how good this movie was. Now, if you haven't seen Frailty, it has Matthew McConaughey, Powers Booth, and Bill Paxton is the lead here. And he is a single father of two children, Adam and Fenton. He ends up getting, well, he says that he's visited by an angel. And it tells him that him and his sons are going to have to start destroying demons that are disguised as human beings. And Fenton opposes this, like, completely, and thinks his father's lost his mind. And Adam, the younger, more impressionable one, he's always looking for approval from his father, so he's saying he believes all this. And we get all this story of how that all evolves when they were kids, told through flashbacks, while Matthew McConaughey, who plays grown-up Fenton, gives a whole speech to an FBI agent and tells him he knows who this killer is, who happens to be his brother Adam. So it's framed very well. The way the story is told is, I love it. And I think the whole story, the script is very, very good with this film. The writing is very good. And it's just an eerie idea. Like, what do you do if it's just you and your little brother? And your father seems to have gone mad. Now, we find out, at the end of this movie that it's true. Everything that his father was saying with slaying demons. And when he puts his hand on them, he sees their crimes and everything that they've done. So in the universe in this movie, it turned out being real. But imagine being Fenton and worrying so much about your brother. You can't just leave. You can't run away and leave your brother there with your supposedly crazy father, who's saying that an angel visited him, and now you have to start killing people, but it's not murder, because they're not people, they're demons. I mean, that's a tough situation to be in. What is he, like preteens maybe, Fenton? I think Adam's like 10 or something like that. They're pretty young. And just imagine being in that situation for both of them, even for Adam, just like having to just take this all as his father says, even though he loves his brother Fenton and he listens to him most of the time, but he just won't see Fenton's version of the truth. Throughout all of this, he wants to please his father. The character development in this film is excellent. I love every character, all three of them in the family. That's pretty much who you spend the whole time with, but they did such a good job writing these characters. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Tubi. If you have, let's talk Frailty from 2001. Firstly, I forget who does the music for this, but I love the score to this movie. I love the intro score during the credits. I love all the music in this. Nope, didn't miss it. It was right at the end. Brian Tyler. The name doesn't sound familiar, but maybe he's done other things in the 2000s. So we open up in Texas at the FBI headquarters at 10:25 p.m. at night. And we see the detective, I don't remember his name, Powers Booth plays him. And Matthew McConaughey comes in and introduces himself as Fenton Meiks and says that he knows who this God's Hand killer is, who's this serial killer that the FBI has been looking for a while now. And this is Fenton coming out and he has a story to tell this detective about how he knows it's his brother Adam, and proceeds to go back in time and tell his childhood story of when this all started with his father, Doyle, Agent Doyle. So I love the whole scene when he first goes in and starts telling him, I know who the Godsend Killer is. It's my brother. And Agent Doyle says, all right, I'll bite. Now, I could see some people calling this flashback a little bit of a cheat with the twist that we get later at the end, because in this whole flashback, we have Matthew McConaughey's character calling Adam, like in the flashback, which we know that near the end that he's really Adam. So this is just to trick the audience, but you can look at it as it's Adam's being an unreliable narrator. He's purposely, lying to this guy about his identity. So this whole story's playing out in front of us, and then he's telling to Agent Doyle is just his bullshit. So it does make sense. I don't consider that a cheat there for the twist. So in present time, we'll just call him Adam, Matthew McConaughey, because that's who it actually is. So Adam finishes his bullshit story, ending with Fenton blowing his brains out. And he has his promise to bury him in the Rose Garden. And then this is when we go back to 1979 with Adam, Fenton, and Bill Paxton as the father. Does he have a name in this? I don't know if he has a name, because they just call him Dad the whole time. So I'll be looking out for that. But first of all, his performance is excellent in this movie. I mean, everyone, the two kids, I forget what the actors' names are, they do a great job for the most part. This is a little overact, but whatever. It's kid acting. It's great for the most part. Matthew McConaughey is great in all these present-day scenes, and Bill Paxton just steals the show throughout this whole movie. I also just really like the name Meiks for a last name. Fenton Meiks, Adam Meiks, like Mr. Meiks. It works. It just rolls off the tongue. I don't know. It just fits perfectly with this movie. I don't know. A little side note. Also, let's talk Matthew McConaughey for a second, because I don't think I've ever done a movie or mentioned him in anything on the channel before. Which, funny enough, it would have probably been The Next Generation, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. But this movie ended up coming out of nowhere, and this is the first one with McConaughey in it. For the most part, I love Matthew McConaughey. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he doesn't have the greatest range. Like, after a while, you just know him as Matthew McConaughey. But he has done some great, great roles in his career. Like, too many to even go into. But old Matthew McConaughey, this is pretty early for him, 2000. This was filmed, 2001 came out. Great performance. I just love the way he talks. I love his fake accent, whatever it's supposed to be, Texas in this. Oh, and I love right before they go into, the flashback back into 1979 when they were kids. I love how Adam brings attention to the photograph of Detective Doyle and his mother that's on his desk, and says, oh, that's your mother, right? And hints again a little later on when we go back into present time and he's finishing more of the story, and he mentions it again, and we find out that she was murdered and the serial killer got away. I love how they set that up for the reveal at the end, that the whole reason Adam's here is because this detective is on his list and is a demon because he killed his mother. The whole twist is excellent to this movie too. Let's just get that out of the way. See, this is what I feel is missing from so many. I consider this more of a thriller film than a full-on horror movie, but I've said this recently in some Perfect Getaway. I miss thrillers like this from the 2000s or early 2010s, that they can just goddamn write characters so well that within the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, you're already on board and you love this family. You love Bill Paxton as the father. Just the whole stuff with Adam and Fenton with the joy down in my heart, and just making him sing it and he doesn't want to participate. And all of that right there, the first 10 minutes of this movie, you automatically start caring about these characters. And that's something you don't get often nowadays, especially in like thrillers like this. And it's very unfortunate, but it's excellently handled here. I love when they're getting ready for bed and they share a room still and stuff. Adam and Fenton, they're arguing over, like, Adam wants to go see Meatballs and they already saw it. And he says he wants to see the Warriors, Fenton. So he's like, I'll go see the Warriors. You can go see Meatballs again. Like, all the dialogue is just great. Father Meiks ends up getting a visit from this angel. You don't see it, you just get this little reflection of the light that he sees, which is good. I'm glad they didn't like put some CGI angel or some shit. So much better the way that they handled it here. And he comes in to his kid's bedroom, wakes them up in the middle of the night, and tells them this crazy story. And for his performance already, just in this whole scene, is absolutely phenomenal. The way he sells this story and the way that he really believes it. And no, I experienced it. Like the angel said, the angel showed me what's going to happen. The world is ending. Like, children, we got it. This is our God-given duty. All of his speech is fantastic here. And then I love how Fenton says like that, like, none of this makes any sense. And then Adam chimes in, like, saying, like, so we're like superheroes and stuff. I can't say enough about the dialogue in this movie. It's so brilliantly written. But imagine, first of all, being woken the fuck up out of its probably nice sleep. That's never good. So what any news you get when you're being woken up in the middle of the night is you're already foggy, you're already not interested. Then you get this laid upon you from your father. The only other person, besides your brother, really, that you have, and the only person you look up to in life, and is there to guide you, tells you that he saw an angel and said that there's a war going on between, like, God and the devil, and he released demons upon earth, and it is our purpose to slay these demons. They may look like human beings, but I assure you, they're demons. And this is not murder. We're demon slayers. We're only demon killers. We're not murderers. Imagine hearing this from your father as a young child like this. I don't know how I'd take it. Because there's always that part of you that, like, you want to believe. You know, a parent or, a parental figure, a guardian, whatever, somebody that you trust. You want to believe what they're saying and that they didn't lose their mind completely. But then you got to really just think logically and say, this doesn't make any sense at all. Then as it starts getting more real, as like he gets the pipe, like his weapon to slay the demons is delivered to him. The way he just like has it in cloth and he unwraps it to show it. He's like, it won't be long now. Like just seeing his descent as this actually comes to fruition when we finally see him kill the first demon. Man, what this kid Fenton goes through and the way that they capture that. This kid does a phenomenal job. I don't know what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't think either of them overact at all in this movie. They both kill it in these roles. But you really feel for and identify with Fenton because he's trying to do everything the right way. He has that private conversation between him and his father later that night without Adam there. And he says, like, maybe you just dreamed it. And he's saying, I didn't dream it. Like, I would not make this up. Again, like, making him feel like, damn, like, my father really is serious about this, but it's insane. And then him saying, maybe you're not right in the head to your father. I mean, he tries everything. And to the point that he suffers for, like, 2 weeks down in the cellar when his father says that he found out that he's a demon. And that he's on the list, his own son, and he won't believe it. There's no way he'll believe it. And he puts him down in that cellar that he has him dig it first before he resides there, which is just evil. But then it turns out this is all true, and in the end, Fenton was a demon. I love how much Adam wants to fit in and get his dad's approval here, that he comes in with his own list. And said the angel visited him and gave him his own list of demons. And the first one is like some kid who stole his bike or like did something minuscule to him. And his father calls him out and says, Adam, he's like, You just wrote this list yourself, and then he admits it and stuff. I love this character. And then finally he brings home the first demon, and it's this woman. And just imagine, again, just being Fenton and Adam, who's even younger, watching this woman in terror, like duct taped around the mouth, her mascara's running, she's crying, she's freaking out. And then we have your father, who's holding an axe and saying, no, she's a demon, and puts his hand on her, and that's how he's able to see her sins. And then I love how later in the end we see what these people actually did. But to Fenton, this is absolutely insane. And then having to watch your father go through with it and kill this woman in front of you, man, I can't imagine. Like, he even goes to the police on his own father. Like, this kid is commendable. Like, this kid has a very strong moral compass, and I love that. Then we see the other victim, the older man, who, he killed a kid or something. He was like a pedophile and child murder or something like that. I forget if she's dead in the flashback at the end, or if, like, he drugged her and he's taking her out of a car, right? But that demon gets destroyed, and then Fenton goes to the police after he did the whole digging that huge asshole, didn't pray once the entire time, and then they build the cellar there, and then they call the cops, and they come, and this cop doesn't believe anything, and Mr. Meiks has to kill him, and he starts yelling at Fenton, saying that, look what you made me do, you made me murder somebody. Like, he says, you kill people all the time. He says, no, this is a person. I slay demons. This is a person I murdered. All of that is great. All the arguing between them, and then he ends up putting him down in the cellar for a week. And he gets a cup of water a day. Dude. And then he starts losing his mind. And it's a cheesy effect. I mean, it's very dated. But we just see his head in the darkness, and like his eyes are like going crazy. It's a little whatever, but I like it. So after his first week in the hole, Fenton says there is no God, and he ends up getting left down there another week. Another week or more? Like, he says, like, he lost track of time down there, which who can blame him? It's just him in the darkness. Nothing to eat, just one cup of water a day that his brother has to be reliable to come and drop it down a little hole. Man, this kid went through some shit. No wonder why he turned out being a serial killer. And he's not the one who believed any of this. And he still turned out being fucked up and being a serial killer. Adam's the one who actually is doing God's work in the sick twist that we get in a little bit. But Fenton finally comes out after he's pretty much almost dead and says to his father that he saw God. And that he believes all this now. And then they go out to get the victim, the new demon, for Fenton to slay, and he ends up killing his father. Which again, like, I mean, that's gonna screw you up, right? Which is exactly what happens to him. He kills his own father right in front of his younger brother, and just Adam's reaction, like, and him crying over his dad's body. And then, I mean, it's a little goofy with him, how he runs with the axe in his hand, but whatever, he ends up killing the demon. Then we go back to present day with Agent Doyle and Fenton, but really Adam. And then we get the reveal. He ends up telling Agent Doyle that when they get to the Rose Garden, where he buries his demons, that it's really Adam. And that he killed his brother Fenton because he was a demon. He became a serial killer. He was the God's Hand killer. So he was on that list for his father way back then when he was a kid, because they knew that he was going to turn out being a serial killer, which is cool in its own right. But then you find out that Adam actually believed this the whole time as a kid, and they show that flashback, and it gives me chills, man. It's a great twist when you hear Adam as a kid say, like, no, I see it when he touches them, and then you see the flashbacks, and you see the woman, and she has a person with their throat slit that she killed next to her, and then the old dude, like, kidnaps some young girl and drags her out of the car, and all of that. And then you find out the whole reason that he went in and met him this night and told him all this was because he's a demon for killing his mother, and he got away with it. And he ends up killing him, and he gets buried in the rose garden with the rest of the demons, I guess. And then I just love this for the ending, because earlier on in the movie, Bill Paxton says to the kids, to his sons, that God will blind everybody for us so we can do our work and not get caught. Even cameras won't pick them up. Then you see the security footage of Adam walking into the FBI agent's office, and all the footage blanks his face out. And then even the deputy or whatever that was there and saw him, he said, I looked right at him. I can't even picture what he looks like. So God was actually looking after him to make sure nobody remembered his face. That's an excellent idea too. And then we find out that he's a sheriff, Adam Meiks, and he's actually the sheriff, and he's trying to do good in multiple ways in his life. Demon slayer and actual sheriff of the town. Great movie. Such an underrated film, man. Frailty from 2001. This was a great rewatch. So I'll let that poll keep going, see which one will win for the next one. But wherever you guys are from, hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, or night. And I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.